G'day, Spice Legends. Welcome to Burn and Bites Down Under, the hottest show down under. We're joined here today by the ultimate MasterChef, or one of the amazing MasterChefs of MasterChef Australia. I've got Brandon Pang here from the old WA representing. He's going to be one of the chefs there that's going to be doing some amazing things at the WA Chili Festival. He's been in 2 seasons so far, and he's also running this awesome company his. So let's introduce Brendan. Brendan, mate, how you going, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
That's the way I mentioned. Legend, no worries, mate. It's great to have you on the show. And just for everyone was wondering what's going on, Brendan's not actually driving, but you're such a busy bastard. Yeah, what's it? Your house renovating, you got everything on the works. What's going on? You said you just go.
So much happening at the moment. Yeah, renovating in the middle of moving houses, working in between meetings at the moment. So I just thought I'd pull over, park the car, and catch up with you, of course.
Thanks, mate. And I was just saying before, what's it called? When I first found out about you, and I don't mean this in a defensive way, I looked at you and going, holy crap! Like, were you in the was it the MasterChef Kids program? And I'm like, oh no, you were 26 when you went on, and what's it called now? I don't know how old you're now. You're like 28 or something like that. I'm like, dude, where is this fountain of youth you're tapping into? Like, what's the story? Is there a secret recipe with dumplings, like special dumplings that keeps you so young?
Look, I think it's just the Asian genetics that I have to thank for this. I'm sure at some point in my life, I don't know when, it's going to all hit me, and I'll look like a really old man.
Fair enough. Well, Brendan, look, for those of you that don't know who you are, there's a minute amount of people who don't know who you are. Just explain to them who you are, what you've done, and what you're doing here, matey.
Yep. Well, I'm a Perth boy. I'd say a chef. I'm not traditionally trained as a chef. I went onto the show and kind of built a food career from there. I don't like to call myself a chef. I'm more of a cook, I'd say. My food's very casual, very approachable. I cook food that comes from my family background. So that's like Chinese, Mauritian, heaps of spice kind of driven influences. And I run a little restaurant here in Perth called Dumplings.
Yeah, we'll get into that a bit more later, because that's a very interesting thing. Because you were actually on the show called the Dumpling King, and I heard that you sort of learned how to do that off the back of your grandma. She taught you how to do them, and she's just gone, look, you need to do these things, and you've gone, yeah, right, and you took it on board, and obviously it's made you the dumpling master, hasn't it, mate?
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting because I went on to MasterChef, and one of the things that I learned as a kid was how to make wontons, which is like the most basic dumpling ever. And then it all kind of went from there. We didn't really know how to make much else growing up because my family were quite poor and all that stuff. But it's kind of just evolved, and here I am today, just making dumplings for a living.
Well, I got to say, on behalf of us Westerners, I think we feel pretty dumb when we're in the kitchen compared to guys like you. You're like, oh yeah, that's the easiest thing ever. We're like, what the fuck? How do you make those things? Like, so obviously you're like, yeah, this is easy as. We're like, what? How do you do that? Watching you go on like that a million miles out, going, yeah, well, good luck with that. Well, matey, look, obviously you've got a bit going on with your life, so the fact that you're in the car right now proves that you're what's it called? A bit too busy to get to whack some food together and eat some spice. So I'm going to do the spice eating today, which sort of puts it on me. It's saying, what's that saying? This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. I think it's really going to hurt me more this time than you. So
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what you had to say the questions, but we'll go with that. And on the last thing is obviously.
Usually, I hate when people eat. I mean, I love food, so I'd rather eat myself. But in this circumstance, I'm very happy watching you eat.
Fair enough, mate. And the last thing I wanted to mention before we get going is, look, you're coming to the Chili Festival, the Chili Fest there in Fremantle. Tell us a bit about that. So it's called the Chili Fest in Fremantle. Is that right? And when is that one on?
Yes, the Chili Fest in Fremantle on March 27 and 28 on the Freo Esplanade, which is like an iconic spot here in WA. Everyone knows what that is. It's a great location, right by the water. There's heaps happening. I'm doing some cooking demos, some spice-driven kind of recipes, some food from the home, and yeah, heaps of cool things happening.
Nice, nice, nice. And so, guys, if you haven't got those tickets to that one, that's facebook.com/the Chili Fest. If you want to check it out, get those tickets while they last, because they're going to be bought up pretty quickly, aren't they, mate? Yeah.
Definitely, and they're very reasonably priced for a festival. I think they're awesome.
There you go, mate. All right. Well, so right here in front of me, I have, believe it or not, 12, not dumplings, but dumplings, right? In front of me, yep, ready to go. And I'm going to dip different sources while I ask you questions. Unfortunately, I can't see you, Burn, but I'm sure that some of those tricky little buggers at the festival might get you if you turn your back on them. So don't make sure you got eyes in the back of your head, especially at Demonic Dave and Gods of Sources there as well. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, let's get to the obvious stuff, and I'm going to delve into some sources now. So the first one I've got is from this company called Chili Sweet, right there from Queensland, Nambour. And this is called a salubrious pork. It's like a smoky pork kind of flavour. And it's awesome. But, buddy, look, the first question I want to ask you is just a really obvious one as well. Look, when and how did you get into cooking, mate? Like you said, you've got a Chinese and Mauritian kind of background with the influence. Just tell us a bit more about how you got into this cooking.
Yeah, I think it was always naturally there. Naturally, I've got quite a big appetite. I love food, love to eat. Always love to try and make things myself. I remember as a kid just wanting to, make my own brekkies, like scrambled eggs. Mum would never let me. But
really?
She's very OCD in the kitchen. So it wasn't until I was a bit older that she kind of started to trust me. But I'm quite lucky coming from a massive food family. Everything's always food oriented. So any birthday, any picnic, any occasion is kind of centered around food. But it wasn't until I would say about 4 years ago that I applied for MasterChef, was when Mum moved from retail to starting a cake business.
Wow.
My uncle also
I actually heard something about that a few years before you went there, she served a cake or something to Prince William. Was it a Prince Charles?
Prince Charles, yeah.
Yeah, and then you later started serving him, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah, was that surreal?
Oh, it was. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see him eat any of the food, but it was cool having that whole just like a big circle, like, that happened to Mum, and then I chased my dreams, and it happened to me as well. So it's kind of
So
cool.
It must be cool. It must be, like you said, it must be cool going full circle in that moment. But at the same time, like you're saying, you didn't get to see him eating. You're like, motherfucker, let me see you eat my food. All right. Well, I'll delve into another sauce here. So this one is Gods of Sauce's Smoky Jerk, right? You're going to see these guys there at the festival as well. But look, the next question I want to ask you, WA, mate.
WA, okay, awesome.
Yeah. So you'll see those guys. You'll see those guys at Chili Fest. Have a chat to Shay Cooper. He's the mastermind behind Gods of Sauces, and he makes some amazing sauces, mate. And this is one of my favorite, is the Smoky Jerk barbecue sauce. It's just ridiculous, mate. Yeah, it is. It's a smoky flavor. Look, the question I want to ask you next, mate, is you're on MasterChef, right? Everyone seems to have this certain idea of what it's like on the outside. You've peeked back behind the veil. You've been in the show. You've seen the inside. I want to know, what was the inside, being inside the show versus watching it from TV? Tell us, what was the difference? What was it really like being on MasterChef? So cheers, mate.
That is a hard question to answer. It's like, I would say it's very similar to your expectations at home, but also very different. So like all that stress and pressure and drama that you see on TV is real, because it's a very real scenario. Like you're putting your jobs on the line. I was a social worker before, left all that.
Really?
Yeah, I worked in child protection, but I left all that just to pursue what could be like a change in career. So naturally, there's all this pressure on you, and then they put you on these time challenges with people like Gordon Ramsay, cooking with ingredients you've never cooked before. So it's hectic. It's crazy. It's like not even like any other like chef in some pressured kitchen or your kitchen at home cooking for like a big family. It's like the most hectic thing ever.
because there's no patience available. Like it's just get this done now or you're done.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much how you see it. Like 60 minutes to 60 minutes, and it's just like time driven. It's stressful, but it's so much fun at the same time. It's like when would anyone ever get to walk into a pantry full of like the best seafood, the best produce, like all these fresh chilies, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. All right, buddy. Well, look, we're gonna delve into this next one here. This one is one of my favorites here. This is a raspberry limited edition 100. So it's raspberry 100 by a company called Fine Line Gourmet Chilies. They're up in Logan. It's quite near Brisbane in it's called Queensland. And this one's amazing because it's the raspberry flavor. One thing I've accidentally found out, I was interviewing another guy called Marty Pribble who has a YouTube channel, Chili the name of, and we both we ate it on a steak, and then we sat back on a drink called a Fireball. You heard of Fireball whiskey?
Yeah. Yep.
Cinnamon, and the cinnamon makers just pop, and we're just going, wow, wow, and we got, okay, that's the key. So the raspberry 100 is something with cinnamon, and we're just going, man, that was amazing. But look,
Wow.
the next, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a weird flavor combo, like, and I think that's something that you might delve with sometimes is flavor combos and different palettes and different balances as well. So that must be something interesting. But I'll delve into this next question, Matty. Like you were just saying before, obviously you had a certain experience the very first time you jumped on MasterChef, but then you returned again. So when was the first one you started? Was 2018, was it?
Correct. Yeah, 2018 was season 10 of MasterChef.
That's right. And then you jumped on the next one was 2020, was it? Or?
20, yeah, started last year. So that was the Back to Win, where they brought back contestants that basically hadn't won, but with like a bit of a fire inside to prove themselves.
That's right.
Yeah, went up against some of the legends of MasterChef, basically.
There you go. Well, what I want to ask you, Matty, is obviously returning to that show. Like, I want to ask you, like, was it easier, and what was your expectations in that show versus the reality of what actually happened there, Matty? So talk us a bit through that one.
It was harder for sure. It was a lot harder. Everyone's like, oh, surely it's going to be easy. You've got your expectations. You know what happens in the challenges. But you're going up against people like, the big names like Po Ling Yao, all these big celebrity chefs that have been in the industry for so long. But separate to that, I was like, I just opened up my business. And then leaving behind my partner, leaving behind my family for the second time, because filming goes for like 6 months. It's pretty hectic.
Yeah, that sounds pretty intense. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a lot harder on that scale emotionally. Cooking wise, it was the same as last time. That's still quite hard.
But obviously, like you sort of knew what you were going in for because you'd already been there. But then that works against you as well because those guys that you're facing up against, they know what they're in for as well. So you both sort of like tit for tat and round for round. You're like, oh,
basically.
Yeah. So I'm sure that'd be a bit more nerve wracking because then obviously the stakes are a bit higher too. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like there's people that I was like really intimidated by, such as Po. But then like you'd see them really like not crumble under the pressure, but it would get to them as well. And then you'd be like, wow, we're really all on the same page here.
And you realize like they're not these chef terminators. They are actually human. They do actually have emotions.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good to see that with your idols. They say that don't ever meet your heroes, but sometimes it's good to see those people at the top of their game still have feelings, still have emotions, still go, wow, that affected me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that must have had an effect when you're going, oh, thank God, like I don't have to be a robot. Awesome. All right, mate. Well, let's delve slightly into the next one. So the next one I've got here, this is one of my absolute favorites. This is Keelty's hand smoked chipotle barbecue sauce. I put this on nearly everything, dude. This is ridiculous.
Oh, really?
It's got a little bit of bite on it.
Yep.
But wow, I'm an absolute smoky barbecue sauce fiend. So
do you ever cook with that sauce, or is it more of like a side sauce or topping for you?
Look, man, I'm going to be honest. I'm not exactly a great cook. I'm definitely no master chef. So I'm not going to say I cook with it, but I definitely put it on stuff. So
yeah, okay, yeah.
I know you judged me pretty hard. I definitely didn't cook these dumplings either. But for those at home, I got these dumplings here, guys, and I got them from. It's called Jai's Dumpling House because your place is a bit of a walk from here, from Sydney. So I just started to get it from there.
What flavor are they?
So I found that your favourite flavour was pork and garlic chives, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Pork and garlic.
Them, I mean, I love all of them, but yeah.
So I went with these ones. I thought if this is the man, this is the dumpling man, the dumpling king. I'm going to take his advice and go with those ones. I tell you what, mate, I'm bloody enjoying them. They are a great flavour, you know. And I'm going to touch on that kind of genre in a second. But look, the next question I want to sort of ask you, you just sort of delved into this dumplings business that you started. Tell us a bit more about creating your own business, mate. I'm guessing that was after MasterChef, mate. So just cheers, bud.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, starting my own business, it was difficult. It was a big mountain to kind of climb up at first. Just mentally, it's like I'm leaving my job as a social worker. I'm going to start my own business from scratch. I don't really have experience, but in the background, I've got a lot of family that have worked in business themselves and have offered me support and mentorship. My dad, my stepdad, my uncle who opened up his own restaurant, mum who started her own cake business. So I was kind of well equipped in that sense, but also doing it all myself.
So, question: what do you think was harder? Was it harder MasterChef, or do you think it's harder running a business, mate? What do you reckon?
Oh, running a business is so much harder.
Yeah, because that's what every business owner tells me. Yeah,
MasterChef is like this short period of time that is insanely like high pressured. The business is just nonstop. Like there's no really any stop. Like every day I'm working, at nighttime I'm working. I'm on the phone, on call really just whenever, and you always just think about it.
Yeah, and that there's something that was that character Gordon Gekko from Wall Street. You guys, money never sleeps, and it's kind of the same with business. Business never sleeps. You know, your hours might finish, but you still got to do your emails and do your spreadsheets and pay your employees, pay your rent, pay electricity, blah, and it goes on. You know, and I'm sure you already know that. You know, and he was like, my God, you know. And I think I saw a stat somewhere along the lines that for Australian businesses that in the first year, 80% fail, and the second year, 80% of those ones fail. And I was like, dude, that's like, so obviously for you to succeed in this environment, you're just like, pretty badass, you know?
Well, I've only been open for it's coming up to 2 years shortly, but
so I don't mean to jinx you. I'm not going to mean to jinx you. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll come after you. I know where you live now, Sydney. So. But no, like you know, things might be going well for a bit, and then you're like, shit, like people get bored. You need to always be thinking about like new and different kind of approaches. So it's definitely a toughie.
And you got to adapt and diversify. I think 2020 and 2021's really thrown some crazy curveballs at some businesses last year, 2 years. So I'm sure you figured that out, going, adaptation is fun. All right. Well, something I wanted to delve into just quickly is in a lot of people's minds. I'll get this next source as well. This one is called Aussie Gold from Tracy Chilli, and this one's amazing. It's all Australian products, and it's one of the only sources that I'm aware of. It's all Australian products and all Australian made. That's actually got a tincture as well in it, and it actually tastes pretty good, which is amazing. Because tinks, you don't traditionally think of a tincture and you think tasty. You think, fuck, it's hot. So for this to be integrated into the sauce is it's quite amazing to have a good flavor as well. But look, the question I want to ask you is, everyone's sort of well aware now that you've got a male partner, and you sort of came out a bit in the whole MasterChef arena. But what's it called? No one was really aware until MasterChef sort of began. But when people sort of, I think in the public eye, a lot of women that are trying to become chefs as well, they sort of see it's sensationalized as a male role, or you know, it's a very heterosexual kind of role, or something like that. You know, with that forethought, you thinking that in the back of your mind. How did that go in with your MasterChef experience, your journey, and then up to now? Because obviously that's a difficult thing to do normally, but you did it in the media eye as well,
Yep.
and sort of let the world know. Let's talk about that, mate. Tell us a bit more about that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
cheers, buddy.
Well, naturally, like coming from a social work background, I'm all for social justice, equality, um, and I left that and went into MasterChef and pursued a career in food. And then working in doing some experience in some kitchens, I found that the environment was very much male dominated, and it was very like hierarchical. You've got your big exec chef, your head chef, like all these like it's just down the line, and they're all so bossy and just grumpy all the time. Um, and I hated it. Actually, I didn't like it at all, and I was like, I don't want to be a chef. I want to run my own business. I want to be a cook. Like I want to cook, but I really don't like this environment. Not to say that they're all like that. Like I've been in some kitchens that have been incredible. I think that's maybe like an older way of kind of running a kitchen. But it's definitely hard. Like I've been quite lucky to be supported by heaps of great chefs in Perth, even knowing that I don't have a chef background or a qualification. They've been really supportive and open with that. But again, at Dumplings, I mean, I only hire female chefs, which is kind of funny.
Is there a reason behind that? Is there a secret? Why only
There's
female chefs, mate?
actually no reason. It's just that each applicant that I've ever hired, I've just kind of been drawn towards them.
Oh, so
Um,
it's just ironic. It has nothing to do with anything.
it's just ironic. It's not that
Oh,
I'm just hiring females for that reason. But yeah, separate to that, the coming out thing was a very important part of my life. And MasterChef kind of helped me to gain confidence, and all that momentum was like, as soon as I finished, I was like, I'm free. I just want to be out there and open. It wasn't really anything to do with food or what I wanted to pursue, but it was important for me to put it out there. And
yeah.
I've been supported by so many people, which has been awesome.
Yeah. Actually, that was one thing. Like, so that was a very surreal moment, I suppose, for you there, going, "Wow, like, I can't believe I just did that," and on TV and rah rah. But then there was that moment where you like smash this bottle, or whatever, like that. And you've cut your
Oh,
hand
yeah.
open, and you're trying to finish
Yeah.
this
I've got like,
challenge, or whatever.
you can see the just down there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like, no, I don't want to go, and then was it George has come over and he's just like, you'll be right, buddy. Oh shit, and he's like, yeah, medical aid, ambulance,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, but I don't. I've got to finish this thing. I don't want to get kicked out. I don't want to go. And
Yeah.
I think that moment where like a lot of people, like we were saying before, you run into your idols. How surreal did it feel that you're being consoled by Nigella Lawson and George there, and he's sort of, it's okay, buddy, it's okay. You get you to the hospital. It's okay, mate. Right? How surreal was that? Was that just a bizarre moment that you just gone?
Oh,
How do I arrive here?
Yeah, I don't even remember that, to be honest. It all happened so quickly. I remember actually just being like, I don't want to leave, just over like literally slipping and cutting my hand.
Yeah. You're like, not because of this. Come on.
Yeah, like I'd rather just cook a bad dish than leave over this.
Right. Exactly. And he's like, not this. Yeah. I'm well versed in stupid things happening to me, mate. Don't you worry about that. So the next one here I've got is by Bucking Chili. It's called Three is Fire. And it's sort of like, I don't know if you've tried any of the hot one sauces, but I compare it to the Last Stab. It's a lemony lime kind of sauce, but not as hot. Quite a good blend as well. It's really good. I like that. But the question I wanted to ask you now is, tell us a bit about, so you're obviously being a chef, you've done a bit of cooking now. Tell us about your first chili experience. And then I want to hear, what was your worst one as well? Everyone seems to have their first chili experience story and then their worst chili experience story. So let's go through that one, mate. So cheers, buddy.
First chili experience, probably as a kid, really. Like, with Mauritian food, it's very spice driven, very strongly Indian influenced. So a lot of curries growing up. And I actually hated chili as a kid. I used to tell mom to leave it out because I just thought it would ruin everything. And it wasn't until I'd say the past 4 years that I started to really appreciate it again.
Mm.
So that was my first chili experience. I can't really name it like a particular experience, but I just remember having a lot of hot, spicy food growing up and not really enjoying it or appreciating it.
So So what would you think would be your absolute worst chili experience? Was there one that just
Worst
took
experience. I do have one actually. It was when I first started dating my partner Nick. And for all of you out there who love chili and know of Long Chim, the restaurant, it's Thai food. It's really spicy. He put me on a date there and ordered the lab, and the lab is like 11 out of 10 spice. And I was
Oh,
just like, oh, this is fine. I'll just have a spoon of it. But like even just the tiniest taste is like crazy. So I was just like sweating. I was like, not a good first date.
fair enough, fair enough. I remember I had a story my dad told me ages ago. He went to Malaysia, and he was the only he remembered he was the only white guy in the restaurant, and he ordered this particular thing. And when he ordered it, all the guys like, oh, and they went quiet, and they brought it out, and he's gone, right. And then he brings a spoon. He said he gets the spoon up to his mouth, and it's there, and he goes, he can feel the heat, and his nose just,
Yeah.
oh, it just dripped, and he's gone, oh no, and he goes, I can't look like a sissy in front of these guys, and
Yeah.
eating this thing, and he said he was eating this curry or whatever. I think he said it was green, and he said he was like crying as he's eating the curry, and all the people go, white boy, laughing and oh wow. So, but he finished it. But they just said he got laughed out of this restaurant. It's pretty funny. I thought that's pretty funny. All right, mate. Well, I've got the next sauce here. This one is starting to ramp up a bit. I think this one's about 1 million Scoville. So this one is from Brisbane. This is 13 Angry Scorpions Jekyll and Hyde. So this is sort of a barbecue sauce kind of style. And this one is rated freakishly hot. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to get a bit hot there. Yeah, yeah. So, matey, the next question.
From Brisbane. Yeah. Quite a few sauces from Brisbane. I feel like it.
Yeah, because like Queensland's a pretty good place to grow chili. I don't know if you've grown any before, but the least amount of frost that you can get on your plants, the more you can grow year round. And obviously that warm temperate climate obviously helps with tropical climates, or not quite arid, but in between tropical and arid is probably the best climate. So as you know, probably Queensland, it's like that all bloody year round. It's like what's it called? Game of Thrones are going, winter is coming, and Queensland is like, what's winter?
Yeah.
But look, matey, next question I want to ask you, delve into is you went and you learned of a few badass chefs. You know, like you're saying, there's Gordon Ramsay, bit of Nigella, George, and the judges there. Look, who do you think you learned the most of, and who do you think was the hardest to work for, mate? So, cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Who did I learn off the most? Was probably, to be honest, like in my MasterChef experience, the ones that I learned the most of were my peers, the other contestants who were like studying, working hard, throwing themselves into food, and seeing them practice techniques and learning off them. The hardest chef I would say to cook for was Gordon Ramsay, just because of all that. Like everyone knows what he's like in the kitchen, and he was exactly that the first time I met him. It was like full on, walked in just swearing and like really didn't give a shit about what anyone thought. Just was like, even with the producers, like he's like real, like he is Gordon Ramsay. There's no act there. Like it's just he's just full on in the kitchen and really like he wants the best all the time.
I actually heard a quote. I can't remember. Because he's talking about who, there's an article, and he was talking about who he learned off, and he goes, you think I'm bad you think I'm bad in the kitchen? He goes, you should have seen the guys that I learned off, you know. And he goes, fucking hell. He goes, there was no ifs, buts, or sirs, or maybes there. And he goes, knives are flying through the kitchen. He goes, you say yes, chef. That's it. No, nothing else. I was like, wow. He goes, so I'm nothing. He goes, you're only as good as the chef that you learn from. And he goes, you cop those really hardcore years, but it molds you into the best chef that you're supposed to be. The harder the chef, the better the chef, apparently, is his theory. It's like, well.
Although I think he's chilled down a lot now with he's doing a bit of work with like kids and his daughter as well. So I think he's kind of.
Yeah, I don't think you legally let us swear at kids for some reason. You know what? So you said you learned the most off your guys you were competing against or competing with. Who do you think you learned the most off in that scenario?
Probably my good mate Reese, who is from Newcastle in Sydney,
Oh, I knew he. Yeah.
from Newey. He's just opened up a cake shop, Cake Boy. So if anyone's around there,
Cake
um,
boy.
go
I have to
check
go
it
check
out.
it out.
Boy, as in BOI.
DIY, yeah. I have to check it out. Like cake boy.
Um, but obviously, I'm like a lot stronger in savory food, Chinese, Mauritian food. Not so much in sweets or desserts. But he was the other way around. So I learned a
Yeah.
lot from him in that sense because you've got to be a well-rounded kind of cook for the competition.
Yeah.
But he taught me heaps, which is awesome.
There you go, mate. There you go. All right, buddy. Well, I'm starting to get. I'm going to sweat. You're just going to laugh at me. The next one I got here is Dr. Paul's hot sauce. This is another WA sauce. This is called Ruby's Reaper. So I believe it. Yeah. So I believe he's in there. He's in Perth, and I've seen this not people for six, but it's certainly warmed people up, and it's going to warm me up in a second, matey. So look, if you're saying about your company dumplings, right? Let's delve into it a bit more. You specialize in dumplings. You call it dumplings, I'm assuming, because it's Brendan's dumplings.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
You're actually one of the very few people to get that.
Oh, really? I don't know. What else is it? Cool. Anyway, but I would ask. Let's talk about your menu there, Matty, and what you got there, because I'm sure there's quite a few different dumplings out there, and if you specialize in it, I'm sure you've created your own. So tell me how many different types there are, and how many are on your menu. Let's talk about that too.
Oh man, dumplings is like a universal language. There's in every culture. There's like ravioli in Italian, like pierogi. There's mandu, which is like Korean dumplings. Gyoza, Japanese dumplings. There's so many, but I guess I'm lucky because a lot of people associate dumplings with Chinese style food, which is the ones that I kind of specialize in. So again, in China, heaps of different regions, but I like to focus on northern Chinese, a lot of Sichuan style flavors, really strong, that numbing kind of Sichuan pepper, heaps of chili.
I'm a bit of a fool for Szechuan beef. I'm like, it's
really
good.
I love Szechuan food so much. It was not food that I grew up with, and my family isn't even close from that kind of region. But it's just food that I love, and it's the food that we kind of specialize in at dumplings.
Nice. So how many are out there, mate? Tell us how many dumplings have you got?
Very small menu. We operate from a kitchen that's kind of like planted into an Airstream trailer inside this warehouse. So we've got about 12 items on the menu, and we kind of just rotate things around. We've got a few small dishes. We've got 4 dumplings all the time. I think our signature is like the Sichuan chicken and prawn dumplings with like a black vinegar dressing, soy, heaps of chili oil, some nice fresh herbs. Delicious. Like that's my favorite. And then also there's my grandmother's, or I call her Magome, her crispy pork wontons. So that's like another big one with the spicy mayo. So
that sounds pretty legit too. So that's what was on your menu. How many dumplings you reckon are out there? If you to scour the world, if you just went and searched all the different dumplings in the world, how many you reckon they're out there? You reckon?
Oh, I'm sure there's minimum like 1,000. There's heaps.
Jeez, that's a lot.
I don't think you can even put a number on it. I mean, it's like a blank canvas. It's just really pastry. A dumpling, by definition, is a morsel-sized pastry filled with any kind of filling, cooked in any kind of way, and that's a dumpling. So, really,
wow, it's a pretty broad term then, and that means that's right. It leaves about endless possibilities of things you can fill with.
Exactly.
One thing I do remember working for an Indian kitchen was these things. They're like sort of gyoza kind of things, and pakoras and samosas and whatever else. And remember chucking certain things, and I'm going, you can whack anything in this. You're saying there. All right, buddy. Well, this next one I got here is from Cobra Chili. Their slogan is "Face the Fury." This one's called Fever. This is rated 1.64 million Scoville, so she's pretty warm. You're looking at me going, "What the fuck?" But matey, look, let's delve into something here now. I'm sure it's given you nightmares after the whole MasterChef thing, like a bit of barramundi and a bit of lobster noodles, matey. Look, are these dishes your strengths or your weaknesses now? Like after having the results you had, where you got kicked off or you didn't do, let's say, amazing because of your
Yeah.
barra and because of your lobster there.
Yeah.
What did you do after that? You go, okay, screw this. I'm going to smash this dish now, or I'm never touching it ever again. Talk us through that.
Look, I'm a person that moves on pretty quickly, so I'm not one that holds on to things. I think it was a spur of the moment bad decision, or just decision making in general when you're under pressure in a challenge. So I undercooked the barra the first time. I was running out of time. I didn't check it properly, and then getting spicy. With
Yeah.
the noodles, the challenge was basically to balance out the 5 different flavors like umami, sour, sweet, all that stuff, and it was a bit too umami driven. So,
Mm.
not that the dish wasn't tasty, it just didn't fit the brief of the challenge in that day.
That's right. Well, but Mousie's just jumped in there. She's just commented saying, "What's the biggest mistake you've made in cooking, Matty? What do you reckon with that one?" Because I think
Biggest
that's a good question.
mistake. I wouldn't say the biggest mistake, but for me, as someone who loves to cook, especially quite early on going into MasterChef, the biggest mistake that I made was really trying to be a cook that I didn't want to be. So like focusing a lot on fine dining kind of like techniques, like sous vide, all that random stuff that like, do you really ever use that at home? Do you love to cook in that way? Like that's what I'm about. Like I love just cooking on the barbecue,
So
cooking more.
more practicality. What seeing things that are practical and other things we're going. When am I going to use this? Is that what you mean?
Exactly, practicality, cooking things that I care about. Like I love my heritage, the food that I grew up with, the food that I love to eat, and I just kind of stick to that, and it keeps me pretty happy. I mean,
I think I think that most Aussies are going to agree with you as well. Everyone loves to whack some gear on the barbie, matey. So,
oh yeah,
if he goes on the barbie, then Bob's your uncle. It's awesome. So everyone agrees. He's going, well, I just want to, if I can whack on the barbie, you're right.
yeah,
And so look, obviously with a lot of different what's the word dishes, there's some pretty difficult dishes to make. With those two, how difficult would you rate those out of 10? The lobster and the barra dishes you did out of 10 to make. Like you're saying, some are practical. Sorry about practical, but others are not. So out of 10, how do you reckon with those guys?
yeah. I would say the barra is probably easier. That was an earlier season when I first went on. But in the conditions, like we were out in Catherine Gorge in the middle of like 40-degree weather,
Hot as fuck.
cooking
So
in like
I'm starting to feel those conditions right now. So, yes, Daniel, I'm getting a bit warm. Yeah,
bit of a change actually, because I'm known for being like really sweaty and hot on the show. Because as soon as
that's
I
just
start,
me.
it's like full on.
That's just me 24/7. I start having a drink. Go
Yeah.
figure.
But no, the second dish I would say is a lot harder. The lobster noodles. I made the noodles from scratch, and I had like pippies, cockles, all different kind of seafood on there. And seafood's a bit of a different game in itself.
Yeah, I'll say, and so obviously there's a lot more effort in the lobster one, so that must have felt a bit more devastating when that went wrong, or that didn't go as planned because you put a lot more effort into that one.
Oh, definitely. I was definitely disappointed on that day. But like I said, I mean, I don't know, but I move on from things pretty quickly. I was
Yeah,
like, meant to be, it's meant to be. Came back home, worked to my business, and I'm still pretty happy with how I did.
just cry into my money for the trailer. I
Yeah.
try to okay. Oh, good, mate. All right, mate. Well, look, I've got this next one here. This one is from Melbourne. It's called COVID-19 by Uncle Mongo's. If you notice, look really closely, the Reaper's actually got a mask on as well. I love it. So cheeky.
I
So
like
this one,
that.
I rate this one about 1.9 million Scoville. I reckon it's pretty warm. She's definitely getting up there. But amazingly, though, one of the things I really do got to say about Uncle Mungo's, they've got a good rep, is they balance their sauces. One thing you might know about being a chef is like you can't have one thing without the other. And so with spicy sauces, what I got to say is some spicy sauces, they're really really hot, but they've got no flavor, or they've got lots of good flavor, but they're not very hot.
Yeah.
And I find that Uncle Mungo's seems to balance pretty well.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these other guys, they do an amazing job as well. Which is what I'm saying. But it keeps surprising me how hot Uncle Mungo's can go and still be a balanced sauce as well, which is amazing. And so I was really surprised when I first tried this COVID-19 about that one, mate. But look, one thing I want to delve into you, buddy, is look, you've done MasterChef, you've started a business, let's say you reprised your role, going back on their MasterChef again. Like, what advice have you got to people? They're going to go in on a cooking show. They're going to go in on, live or reality TV show entertainment to go cook or try and start their businesses. What advice do you have to future or fellow people that are going to go have to give that a crack, mate? So cheers, buddy.
Yeah, cheers. I think just like what I said earlier, my biggest mistake was trying to cook food that wasn't me. And when I did start cooking food that was me, dumplings, noodles, all that Chinese food, that's when I did well. But also not overthinking it. I mean, a lot of these challenges are Gary's saying nice and hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just enjoying yourself and really just being yourself, cooking food that you want to be known for. Like if you're going on a platform like that, why cook food that I'm not going to cook fine dining food if I don't want to open up a fine dining restaurant?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Just not overthinking it either. A lot of the challenges are like cook a dish that is well balanced, and then like this is the dish that I went out on, but I was thinking too much about like umami and salty and sour and sweet. I was like, I should have just cooked like how I normally cook.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, matey. Well, got two more questions, guys. Two more sources. The next one here I got is Where's the Dunny by Australian Extreme Chili Condiments. They're down in I think where is it? They're in New South Wales as well. Yeah. Sorry, this is starting to get warmer now too. Yeah, New South Wales, Creerback, New South Wales. I reckon this one is, if it's not 2 million, it's pretty bloody close to 2 million. Either way, it's not. But Matty, one of the questions I want to ask you is, you were talking about you've got this cookbook coming out. Trying to remember what the name is called.
It's come out already.
It's coming out. Yep.
It's been out.
Tell us about your cookbook that's coming out, and then tell us what's in the future for Brendan. All right. So, cheers, mate.
Cheers. Cookbook. This is a book about dumplings. Came out around August last year. Basically, pretty much what the title suggests is that it is a book about dumplings, making pastry from scratch, fillings, how to plate or fold a dumpling, how to cook them, everything you need to know, plus a few side dishes, a couple of noodles and stuff like that. But I am working on a second book at the moment, which I haven't really told anyone yet. It's very early in the work.
Are we allowed to know what the title is of that one?
I haven't landed on a title at the moment, but it's very.
Is it called This Is Another Book About Dumplings?
No, it's not. It's not that. But yeah, it's kind of along the same line, but a bit of a progression from using kind of pastry and dough in Chinese cooking. So I'm looking forward to kind of. There's a lot more work to come, but looking forward to sharing that with everyone else. But yeah, in terms of what's next, I mean, I've got some cooking classes coming up soon, which people have been like banging on about. They've just been waiting for those. Just here in Perth locally. I'd like to put them online, which would be awesome because then everyone around the world can kind of just access them.
Broader audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like what we're doing now, just, with COVID and now like people can't travel.
Yeah.
I would like to, this is very on topic, but the chili oil that we sell down at Dumplings, which we usually make as a small batch in-house, I would like to do that on a larger scale and get that out to people everywhere. I'd like to send some to you or.
Oh yeah, I'll take some of that, please. Yes, please. But, I'll be a test dummy for you.
Yeah, it's just a Sichuan chili oil that we make, and we put it on basically everything at Dumplings.
Yeah. Yes, please.
I'd love to make that on a mass scale and just share it with everyone.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'll review it for you if you want. All right, buddy. Well, we're down to the pointy end of things, mate. It's about to get interesting. I don't know if you've seen any of my show before, but this is where things get more silly. Interesting. You get to have a laugh at me. The next one I've got here is the Chili Factory's Scorpion Strike on steroids. It's rated 2.25 million Scoville. This is a badass sauce. She is a hot mofo. It might not be the tastiest, but oh my god, she's definitely one of the hot. But I'm yet to come across that commercial sauce that's that hot. But wow. Anyway, we are now at the pointy end of our what's it called, our show, and it's part of the show we call Fuzzy Facts. Now, why the rest is called Fozzie Facts is we've got an Aussie animal here. Which, Terry. Hey, Terry. You got what? Terry. Hey. That's Terry the Tasmanian Devil. And he's given us 10 Aussie facts about Australia. Normally, you're supposed to burn with me, but we'll forgive you, matey. You've got a lot on your plate at the moment. So I'm going to burn and try and ask you these questions, and then you've got to try and answer them. They're going to be true or false questions about Australia.
Okay. Alrighty.
So do it. I want to ask you if you're ready, but I'm sort of eternally asking myself, am I ready? Because I don't know. It's really hot. So if I'm freaking out a little bit and sweating, go to delirious. That's my fault, and that's on you. But okay, you ready, buddy?
Let's do it.
All right, true or false? Fuzzy facts about Australia. 3, 2, 1.
Cheers.
All right. Well, what's hot? The Great Ocean Road is the world's largest war memorial. True or false?
False.
It's actually true.
Oh, damn it.
All right.
I did go there last year for the first time, but I didn't know that, yeah.
All right. Number 2, 700 meters of Uluru is actually underground. True or false?
False.
That's right. It's 2.5 kilometers further underground.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a large rock, like a placalith or monolith. It's sort of like that iceberg thing, so it's just a tip on the outside. Yeah. All right. Number 3, there is no bills of rights in this country, Australia, making it the only Western country to omit this from its governmental system. Is this true or false?
True.
Tricky. True. It's actually true. Yeah. It's wild, isn't it? All right. Here's a question for you. See if you can figure this one out. Saudi Arabia imports kangaroos from Australia. True or false?
Oh. True. Excuse me.
It's actually false. It's camels.
Camels. Oh my god, I should know that. Yeah, because there's so many camels everywhere.
Go figure, right? All right. So next question. There are over 2 million camels in the outback. True or false?
True.
That's right, and that's why we import them, because they're like bloody rats. What was that? I think there was a few settlers or whatever that went and took them out in the outback, and then they escaped and they just kept breeding. People were, well, good luck with that. All right. Number 6. There are so many different types of species in Australia that only 25% of them have been discovered and are known to humans. This leaves 75%, which are totally undiscovered as of yet. True or false?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'm gonna say true.
Yeah, it's actually true. All right. 7. According to a survey conducted in Britain, around 1% of the population believed that the moon was closer than Australia. True or false?
I want to say true, but I'm going to say false.
You're right. It's false. It was 10% of the population.
10%. Wow.
Believed it. Yeah.
Big percentage. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? All right. Number 8. Highway 1 in Australia is the longest highway in the world, spanning around 14,400 kilometers in total. True or false?
Oh, true.
That's right. It's true. So, the American listeners, that's 9,000 miles. Bloody long. All right. 2 more to go. In Australia, there's a mountain called Mount Disappointment. Apparently, the view was so disappointing that there was no better name for it. True or false?
False.
That's actually true.
Oh, really? Where is it?
I don't know. I'll have to find out. But yeah, I was really wow.
I'll look it up.
All right. Last one. The wattle was selected as the national emblem of Australia in 1888. True or false?
Oh, that's true.
That's false. It's 1912. Pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, very.
Oh, mate. Well, congratulations, mate. You made it through the fire trial somehow. I did as well. But look, mate, you got 60 seconds to say whatever you want, whatever's going up in the future, what's happening in the near future through Brand and Pang, what's going on the Freo Festival as well, mate. Tell us what's up in your life.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's in Perth or visiting Perth, March 27, 28, come down to the Chili Fest in Freo. I'm really excited because it's the first time we're bringing it back to Freo. Massive. I'm a local boy down there. If not, come visit Dumplings in Freo, my little dumpling shop. And yeah, just catch me on social media. I've got another book coming out hopefully by the end of this year.
Nice. Good luck. Good stuff, legends. Well, exactly. So thank you so much for jumping on our show, Matty, and joining us here. And good luck over at Freo, mate, at the Chili Fest. I know you're going to have a lot of fun. And again, watch yourself. There's going to be a few guys trying to check up video and try and get a few sneaky little things into your mouth, mate. So they'll try and initiate you into the ring of fire. All right, buddy. We'll let you go, and good luck with all the renos too. Hey.
Thank you.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye. All right, Spice Legends, thank you so much for joining us here today. Seeing me burn, seeing Brandon laugh at me, and obviously the amazing Frio Chili Fest is coming up very soon. So if you haven't got your tickets, check out those tickets there at obviously facebook.com/the Chili Fest. Get them while you still can, because they're going to run it really quickly. But for now, Spice Legends, I like to say, just keep calm and be saucy.